From Jordan's dynasty to today's dilemma, the Chicago Bulls are at a crossroads. 6 rings in the rafters, but what's their future plan? In 2024, it's time to go all in or tear it down. The Windy City's legacy hangs in the balance. This is the season that will make or break the Bulls. Are they charging towards glory or heading for a rebuild? Let's dive into Chicago's biggest decision in decades. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. Today, we're diving deep into the Chicago Bulls and their crucial 2024-25 season. It's time for this storied franchise to chart a new course and find their long-term vision. So grab your favorite Bulls jersey and let's break it down. The state of the Bulls. As we enter the 2024-25 season, the Chicago Bulls find themselves at a crossroads. Gone are the days of Michael Jordan's dominance, and even the excitement of the Derrick Rose era feels like ancient history. The past few seasons have been a roller coaster of mediocrity, with flashes of potential overshadowed by inconsistency and injuries. The core of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic has shown they can compete on any given night, but the team has struggled to break through to true contender status. With LaVine entering his prime and DeRozan not getting any younger, the clock is ticking for this iteration of the Bulls. The front office dilemma. Art Raskarniovas and Mark Eversley have some tough decisions ahead. The duo has made some solid moves since taking over in 2020, but the team's ceiling remains unclear. The question now is whether to continue tinkering with the current core or to initiate a more dramatic rebuild. Let's look at some key factors they'll need to consider. The LaVine conundrum. Zach LaVine is undoubtedly a talented scorer, but his max contract and injury history make him a complex piece of the puzzle. The Bulls need to decide if he's truly a foundational player or if his value might be higher as a trade asset to kickstart a rebuild. DeRozan's twilight years. DeMar DeRozan has been a steadying presence for the Bulls, but he's now in his mid-30s. His leadership and mid-range mastery are valuable, but can the team afford to build around a player nearing the end of his prime? The Lonzo Ball situation. The ongoing uncertainty surrounding Lonzo Ball's health has been a dark cloud over the franchise. If he can return to form, he could be the playmaking glue this team desperately needs. If not, the Bulls may need to move on and find a long-term solution at point guard. Young talent evaluation. Players like Patrick Williams and Kobe White have shown flashes but haven't fully lived up to their draft positions. The 2024-25 season is crucial for determining if these young players can be cornerstone pieces or if they're better suited as role players or trade assets. Potential paths forward. Let's explore 3 potential directions the Bulls could take during the 2024-25 season. Path 1, all in on contention. If the Bulls believe in their core, they could make aggressive moves to surround LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic with win-now pieces. This might involve trading future assets or young players for established veterans who can contribute immediately. Path 2, soft rebuild. This approach would involve trading 1 or 2 of the core pieces, likely DeRozan or Vucevic, for younger players and draft assets while retaining LaVine as the centerpiece. The goal would be to remain competitive while gradually getting younger and more flexible. Path 3, full rebuild. The most drastic option would be to trade away all the veteran core pieces for draft picks and young prospects. This would likely result in a few tough seasons but could set the Bulls up for long-term success if executed well. The importance of player development. Regardless of which path the Bulls choose, player development will be crucial. The organization needs to take a hard look at its coaching staff and development programs to ensure they're maximizing the potential of every player on the roster. This is particularly important for players like Patrick Williams, who has shown tantalizing flashes but hasn't quite put it all together. The Bulls need to figure out if he can be a two-way force or if his ceiling is more limited than initially hoped. Kobe White is another interesting case. After showing improvement as a combo guard, the Bulls need to determine if he can be a long-term piece of the puzzle or if his value is higher as a trade asset. The draft and free agency. The 2025 draft class is shaping up to be an intriguing one, and the Bulls' approach to the 2024-25 season will greatly impact their draft position. If they decide to rebuild, they could be in play for a potential franchise-altering talent. In terms of free agency, the Bulls haven't been a top destination for stars in recent years. However, if they can show a clear vision and path to contention, they might be able to attract high-level talent to complement their core or jumpstart a rebuild. The Billy Donovan factor. Head coach Billy Donovan has proven to be a solid leader, but the 2024-25 season will be pivotal for his future with the team. If the Bulls decide to rebuild, will Donovan be the right coach to develop young talent? Or if they push for contention, can he elevate his game planning to match up with the top coaches in the league? The front office needs to evaluate whether Donovan is the right person to lead the team through its next phase, whatever that may be. Learning from history. The Bulls have been here before. After Jordan's second retirement, they went through a painful rebuild that took years to bear fruit. The Derrick Rose era provided hope but was ultimately derailed by injuries. This time around, the franchise needs to be more strategic and patient. They can look at successful rebuilds like the Boston Celtics or the Golden State Warriors for inspiration on how to balance asset accumulation with smart drafting and player development. The Chicago market. One factor that can't be ignored is the Chicago market itself. As one of the largest cities in the country with a rabid basketball fan base, there's immense pressure to field a competitive team. This could push the front office towards quicker fixes rather than a patient rebuild. However, if communicated properly, Bulls fans might buy into a clear long-term vision that promises sustained success rather than continued mediocrity. As we wrap up, it's clear that the 2024-25 season is more than just another year for the Chicago Bulls. It's a defining moment for the franchise. The decisions made during this pivotal season will shape the team's trajectory for years to come. Whether they choose to go all in on contention, opt for a soft rebuild, or commit to a full teardown, the Bulls need to approach this crossroads with clarity and conviction. Half measures and indecision will only prolong the franchise's time in basketball purgatory. For a team with 6 championship banners hanging in the United Center, mediocrity simply isn't an option. The Chicago Bulls need to find their long-term vision, and they need to find it now. What do you think, Bulls fans? Which path should the team take? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content. Until next time, keep balling.